Hello and welcome back to the second to last video of 2024, which is very exciting. We're looking forward to the new year. Well, I certainly am. Lots of new games to play, lots of new games to buy. But I figured I'd do what is ostensibly my Christmas special today. And then I'll be doing another video before the new year, which is New Year's Eve gaming, or kind of a tradition I have every year, and talking a little bit about that. So, Stanley Parable. Now, the Stanley Parable is one of my absolute favourite games of all time. I absolutely love it. It's so good. I have a general rule of thumb per year, which is my favourite game of any given year has to have had a physical release. Unfortunately, Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe lost out kind of twice. It lost out in 2013 when the game originally released. Although I didn't play it in 2013, I played that a couple of years later. And then it lost out 2 years ago when the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe edition released. However, my loving wife bought me a whole load of Stanley Parable stuff. Like a lot of it. Like an inordinate amount of it. And you know what? Could be happier. So, for those of you who don't know, Stanley Parable is a walking simulator of sorts, where you make different choices throughout the game, and it's kind of narrated by by a narrator. It's kind of a sort of meta game. It's very very metatextual. It's all about choices in video games and reactions to that. The Ultra Deluxe version itself is kind of its own sequel. It's about how difficult it is to make a sequel to a game like the Stanley Parable, which is a whole other kettle of fish. So yeah, my wife bought me the Ultra Deluxe Collector's Edition from I Am 8-Bit, and I've had a bit of a mixed history with I Am 8-Bit. Normally they'll release just kind of a much more expensive cardboard sleeved version of kind of the games they release. The only reason I keep them around is because once very long ago I missed out on What Remains of Edith Finch. That game has never been re-released on the PS4, and it cost me £200 to buy it. So yeah, I know. So yeah, my wife picked me up the Ultra Deluxe, the limited edition with brand new artwork. It's very cool. Yeah, there you go. Stanley Parable 2. If I wanted that as a cover for this particular game. But yeah, what did I think of the new content? Yeah, it's great. As I said, it's kind of its own sequel. So playing through that 2 years ago was fantastic. I'm looking forward to playing through this particular version again. I did debate on buying the PS5 version as well for myself, just to make it a real Stanley Parable Christmas, but I felt that was kind of a step too far. Don't need a game twice. Yet. I will get it again, probably. But, yeah. This collector's edition came with a few little bits and bobs, and then there were some other bits that I Am 8-Bit were kind of selling on the side that are dubious. They're not dubious, but they are interesting. So it came with 4 little... Well, these are just pictures. And they've each got, like, little things on the back. So, for example, the piano that you can't interact with in the boss's office. The employee lounge. The first copy machine, which you see just coming straight out of the... which you see just coming straight out of the office in the first part of the game. And then the room you can't usually access. I think you can access it as part of one of the endings, but I could be wrong on that. Came with some other bits. So, big part of the new content was a bucket. That's the joke. That was the joke about the whole game. The major content, the major new endings they added were the bucket. You get a bucket, and the bucket, if you have it, changes basically every ending in the game, which is pretty nuts and pretty funny. To be fair, if you don't find the bucket joke funny, I wouldn't recommend playing the Ultra Deluxe version. I just recommend playing the original version of Stanley Parable, which you can do. You can just not go and do the new content. Otherwise, you're not going to find if you don't find the bucket gag particularly funny, there's not much point buying the Ultra Deluxe version. But it did come with some bucket stickers, this collector's edition, which is very nice. And probably my favourite thing that it came with, apart from something else, is the bucket manual. So this goes into getting your own bucket, kind of sealing a pact with this eternal force of cosmic benevolence. And yeah, it's very strange, but it's very funny. There's even like a QR code that you can scan in here that takes you to a part of the website where there's a 5-minute audio track that my wife and I listened to kind of 2 days ago about about the bucket and about selecting your own bucket and kind of preparing yourself to receive the reassurance bucket, the Stanley Parable 2 reassurance bucket. This did come with one other thing. So the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe adds a bunch of new features, and that's kind of the idea. It's kind of meaningless crap. So like a new achievement and collectibles in the form of what in the game kind of go through a variety of different names. They go from like Stanlerines to Figlies. My favourite is Stanler Figlarines, which the game, well, the collector's edition kind of came with. It came with a little Stanley who looks horrified and is surprising. He's made of kind of a very soft plastic, so I'm not fiddling with it too much with his weird little amiibo base. Doesn't work as an amiibo. That'd be funny. So some of the other features that the game adds, mostly they're gags. It adds a jump circle, so you can jump, but only a select number of times. It adds this. So this is one of the additional bits that my wife bought alongside the collector's edition for me for Christmas, and that is the button that says the name of the player playing the game, which I happen to have out of the box already. And this will say your name, regardless of, so long as you're playing the game, and Jim. So long as your name is Jim. Jim. That was a tenner. You know what? It's so worth it. I'm looking forward to kind of just sitting next to my friends and going, Jim. Plus it lights up, so I'm not complaining. And it came with batteries, which is all very well and good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Jim button. I've been poking it constantly since Christmas, and it's been winding up a lot of people. Yeah, so if you like Stanley Parable, I heartily recommend the limited edition. If you only really liked the 2013 version, IndieBox did one like nearly 10 years ago now. They did a collector's edition that I missed out on getting in August. I could have got it for like 100 quid, but normally it sells for like 4. Which kills me slightly on the inside. I wish I'd grabbed it, but here we are. It's one of those things that I missed. That being said, didn't miss out on the Stanley Parable stuff from iMakeBit. Another thing they released is the Copy Conductor 980 TX instructional audio tape. So this is, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have a tape player. It is an actual cassette on actual magnetic ribbon. There you go. Bonus audio content for the Stanley Parable, which is interesting. I haven't listened to this, and I haven't actually gone looking for it online. I don't have a cassette player. I have been meaning to, well, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm going to buy one strictly so I can listen to this, because this was also a tenner. This was also, in fact, I think it was like 15. So yeah. That is official Stanley Parable merchandise, which is really weird. Super, super out there. I have a cassette. I got a cassette tape. I got an instructional audio tape on how to use a fictional photocopier for Christmas. Now, those are probably the three weirdest bits. So you get the figurine, which is fairly standard. Bucket manual really isn't. A button that just says... I mean, so long as you can embody the idea of being Jim, I think you're fine. Satisfying. And a cassette player. Oh, well, not even a cassette player. A cassette without a cassette player for a fictitious copying machine. Now, there was one other thing. Well, there were two other things. I'll get to the other thing in a minute. Because I think a few people are going to be questioning why. I got the vinyl, which is great. Comes with 3 motivational posters. Has all of the music, including... C'est la chanson sur la memory zone, in français. Basically, it's the Memory Zone song, which is sung entirely in French, and is about, well, it's about the Stanley Parable, and remembering the Stanley Parable, and mourning lost love. Rather nicely, recycled black vinyl. This is entirely recyclable. Or it was entirely recyclable. I'm not recycling it, of course, but it is entirely recyclable. This is sealed. I will be keeping it as such, much like my Dustin Elysian Tale vinyl up there. I have actually got a space allocated for all of this in the games room. I will be doing a games room tour, because quite a lot has changed. But I need to get some stuff sorted with the big shelving here. I need to get some stuff sorted over there. There's some other stuff I just kind of need to get done. So, for example, we've got this shelf here. Yeah. The Stanley Parable has its own pride of place, which I'm going to be fully frank with you about. Could be more excited. Very happy with that. Genuinely am. Super excited. Now, there was one other major present that my wife got for me to kind of satisfy my mild derangement and to kind of just... You know, don't break. To kind of go with the game. A bucket. Yes, my wife got me a Stanley Parable bucket. Oh, you're not supposed to hold it by the handle, apparently. You're supposed to cradle it to provide reassurance. It's completely empty. And, yeah, it's great. She even got the stickers stuck on the side, because I didn't want to use these ones. I mean, I could have done, but they're much, much smaller than the Etsy ones we got printed. So yeah, it's a real Stanley Parable Christmas. Or it was a very Stanley Parable Christmas. I know a lot of people are going to be going, why do you have a bucket? Why do you have a bucket with property of Stanley stuck on the side of it in your games room? Why is that pride of place along with a button that goes... and a cassette tape about fictitious blah blah. Simple fact of the matter is, I think this game's hilarious. It is one of my absolute favourite... It's probably my absolute favourite walking simulator, and I'm a big fan of those. I've got Stanley Parable, Outer Wilds, if you count it, Dear Esther, Firewatch, What Remains of Edith Finch. I've played a lot of them. I've played an awful lot of walking simulators, but Stanley Parable is flat out my favourite, as well as one of the funniest games I've ever played. So... yeah, quite happy. Quite happy with this. Very happy with my Stanley Parable Christmas. Very happy with my big old reassurance bucket. So from the reassurance bucket tonight, I hope you had a nice Christmas. I hope you got everything gaming and non-gaming related that you wanted. And I will be seeing you in a couple of days for my New Year's Eve special. So thank you very much and have a good day.